Hey everyone, and welcome back to another car review from the Boyz Racing. I'm TBZ Frostbite, finally back with the much anticipated review of the widebody 2017 Camaro ZL1. This review comes a request after the Mustang Shelby GT350R video and many comments asking how the widebody Camaro compared. And here we are. Now, in its stock form, the 2017 Camaro holds a lot to its old traditions of having very rectangular edges, slightly less sleek than the Mustang. But the hood and front end do have a bit of a downward angle to make it this more aerodynamic than the old square body. And this model boasts Chevy's LT4 V8, a 6.2-liter supercharged engine pushing out 650 horsepower and foot-pounds of torque. And it's no lightweight, coming in at 3,883 pounds. Lighter than the Challenger, yet still heavy for a track-designed car. The front lip splitter and active diffusers are great touches to the car, adding practical downforce and stability, while still making the car look amazing. The rear end, with its blacked-out trimming wrapped around the quad-piped exhaust. A low wing adding some aero, but not interfering too much with the aerodynamics. The black that wraps around the hood denotes that this is in fact the supercharged model, proudly displaying the ZL1 badging. But enough of how this car looks. Time for a road test to see how well she can handle, and of course, how she sounds. The exhaust note sounds very tame. You can definitely hear the engine wants to be more aggressive sounding and louder, but is definitely muffled, no pun intended. However, I do find the exhaust note to be very accurate. Chevy wanted to make this a road legal car, and because of many mandated exhaust decibel restrictions, Chevy had to add many exhaust taming measures to comply with the regulations. But the acceleration seemed a little disappointing. At no point did I truly feel at full throttle. While accelerating was steady, it was lackluster at best. Power to weight ratio might play a factor, but I'd venture to say the gear ratio would need tweaking to improve the acceleration. Braking requires ample amount of anticipation. These will definitely needed to be upgraded, as they lock up very easily or don't have enough pressure to slow the car adequately. Turn and understeer is noticeable and is due in part to poor brake setup, but an adjustment to the sway bars and suspension stiffness will help dial that in for track purposes. Otherwise, this is a great handling car, very smooth with limited body roll, which is surprising for a car of this bulkiness. But now let's head back to the garage and see what our upgrade options are. Starting with the conversions, we have the 7.7-liter V12 or the 8.9 DSC engine swaps. Great for some drag builds, but we're definitely going for a more original engine track build here, so I think we'll pass. Our drivetrain options are the standard all-wheel drive swap. And finally, we have a wide-body conversion kit. Now, right off the bat, I can say I'm not a huge fan of the wide-body. It lacks smooth integration from natural body lines to extensions, but we are comparing this to the Mustang widebody, so we'll give it a shot. In the aero and appearance, we have our standard front aero, a few options for the wings, and I'm liking the low GT3 version of this, some additional lights to make this into a police or pace car, and a few very unique hood options. But as we head over to our wheels, I am disappointed not to see the track width as an option. Nonetheless, I am going to work with this build and be back shortly with our finished product. I was a bit leery about the body kit, but after a paint change and a better wheel setup, I am shocked yet pleased with the outcome. What we have here is an 842 horsepower and 788 foot-pounds of torque, pushing the rear wheels and 3,368 pounds of metal around Mexico. Bolstered with whole-shot Sunstar wheels, this car is aggressive yet sleek. The front splitter gives proper downforce, the hood scoop adding to that downforce while cooling the supercharger, the low-slung rear wing cutting through the air, and the wide fenders allowing the car better turning grip and straight-line stability to make this an adequate competitor to the Mustang. So, let's see those track numbers. Starting with Dijon Pernod, I was able to tell right off the bat this Camaro was going to easily maneuver the tight turns without rear end grip loss. It held fast to the track and completed it in 56.724 seconds, beating the Mustang's 58.540, shattering its time and setting a new record for the track. This truly comes as no surprise, as the Camaro just would not lose grip around the corners, and straight-line acceleration was more than plenty for this track. It probably comes as no surprise that the Camaro outdid the Mustang on NOLA, but its fastest lap was less than a second faster than the Mustang, clocking in at 1 minute 14.925 seconds. While the acceleration was good, top-end speed didn't quite outdo that of the Mustangs, but the handling was enough to get the Camaro around faster than the Mustang and take the top leaderboard spot for both tracks. A very impressive feat as well. The final ratings for this car were a little bit hard to pinpoint. For style, I found that unless you find the right color on the car, the wide body isn't too pleasing in looks, and the body options, though the hoods are a bit different, still leave a lot to be desired, and the lack of track width adjustment on the car meant for the track was disappointing. But this still very much a beautiful car, and I've given it a 7. The competitive score ranks pretty high. Taken into online racing, seen here, myself and Alan Ndope managed to take some wins and podiums and lobbies during using this build. And with the great handling, we didn't have to overcorrect for self or others' errors. That earns this one a 9. Finally, the fun factor. While not a car I'd go to as a first choice for cruising, it does have a unique and sleek character about it, making for a good car show car. It's also great for photos, and I think that's enough to earn a 7, bringing this Camaro to a total of 23 out of 30, placing it 3rd in overall ranking. Well, that does it for us in this video. Let me know in the comments which of the two cars you like better. Keep an eye out for another track reveal soon, and let me know which of the new cars Forza has released in the last month you'd like to see reviewed. Please like and share this video, hit that subscribe button, and as always, safe driving.